So Sledgehammer finally fixed a couple of the aftermarket parts that you get for completing some of the weekly challenges, and this one in particular adds another barrel to the AMR9, making it the first double barrel SMG that we got in the game. So I wanted to jump in here in Zombies and see how it's handling and see how it takes care of those bosses. If you guys are into Zombies content or anything Call of Duty, please do consider dropping the video a like and subscribing to the channel, man. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers and you guys have been killing it lately. We're gonna be starting this off with a bunch of goodies. I actually brought in a flawless crystal and a legendary ether tool, so I wanted to be able to show you guys what this thing is doing at its maximum potential. I was a little bit disappointed. I wanted these barrels to shoot at the same time, but they kind of shoot one after the other, and I think it tones down the fire rate just a little bit, so this thing's shooting a little bit slower. This time around, we're actually going to be skipping the first tier zone, and we're going to be heading straight into the second tier zone, and I wanted to check out the skyscraper, where this is actually where our new warlord's going to be here in a few days. This place is always known to have a bunch of goodies in it. Look at this, man. We got a 3-plate vest. Next crate we looked at and had a self-revive, a sentry gun, and one of those turret mods. Damn, there's always really good loot up here. This is right where I was getting my first little taste of what this thing can do to these zombies, and man, this disciple he was instantly deleted, and then I got a second one and same thing, he was just gone. So I was like, man, this thing is gonna do wonders against the bosses, I just know it. We ended up getting an HVT here in the second zone, and it was on a Mangler, and this guy, he went down pretty fast. I was actually kind of surprised, but he ended up dropping me the schematic for the Pack-a-Punch level 1 crystal, and that's gonna come into play later. Next, I made my way into the red tier zone. I ended up getting an HVT on a Mimic. This thing was doing actually some pretty good damage to him, but he had a Mega Abomination that was trailing right behind him, so I figured I'd just lure these guys right into my turret. I think those are honestly one of the most underutilized things in this game mode. Is if you find those ammo mod turret things, you always pick those things up because they come in so much handy when you're doing red zone contract stuff or just being in the red zone in general. I ended up getting another HVT on another Mega Abomination, and for some reason in this match they wanted to keep spawning these things right next to each other. I had 2 of them, so I put in a turret mod and I ended up getting rid of these things quite quickly. While I was on my way out of the red tier zone, I saw this Mega Abomination that kind of like froze in place, so I decided to jump out of my car and just see what this thing could do to him damage wise, and of course as soon as I hopped out he decided to turn around and just start beaming me. As I was laying some shots in on him, I was actually pretty surprised at what the damage this thing was doing, so I decided to hop up on top here where you can actually just sit up here. Zombies will chase you up here sometimes, but from my experience you're mainly going to have to be worrying about those chunks of flesh that they're throwing at you. But after just a few short minutes I was able to finally kill this thing, and he actually ended up dropping me a Wonderwaff, which I wanted to go give this thing to somebody. Plus I had a couple other things in my backpack that I picked up along the way, so I figured I would go find someone that's just hanging out in the first tier zone and just go drop him a couple things. So I ended up finding this Reindeer guy just standing on top of this roof here, and he wasn't really moving at first, so I wanted to make sure that he was actually playing before I just started dropping him stuff. Now I was gonna drop him the Wonderwaff, but then I realized he already had the Scorcher, so he probably didn't want another wonder weapon, but I did end up dropping him the Pack-a-Punch crystal schematic, which he seemed very happy about, and then I also dropped him the large backpack that I was carrying, and he seemed pretty happy about that too. Overall, I think this weapon does pretty damn good here in Modern Warfare Zombies. I just think that there is a couple other weapons in the game that definitely do better than this thing. If you are looking for a decent SMG, especially since this thing can slap on the 100-round mag, and then once you Pack-a-Punch it, it gets doubled. It's got a really good mag size, the mobility is definitely decent, it takes out zombies nicely, and it handles most of the bosses like an absolute champ. But with that guys, I think that's gonna wrap up the video, and we're gonna go exfil here. If you guys are enjoying the content, please do consider drop that like and subscribing to the channel, man. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. Like I said earlier, lately you guys have just been absolutely killing it. I cannot thank you guys enough for all the support. I'm gonna be working on another video for the tier aftermarket part that they just released today as well. Well, they actually released it a long time ago, it just now finally dropped though. Yeah, just be on the lookout for that, and I will catch you guys in the next one.